Bigfoot sightings are notorious all over the US, and they're even more notorious for usually being hoaxes, whether this is a really blurry, out of focus video or photo, or maybe it's just a random Reddit post on the internet. But there are some credible Bigfoot encounters. One I covered was the Theodore Roosevelt story, in which he wrote about a friend of his who, back in his younger years, apparently ran into a beast. Now, some people say this beast was a goblin, others say it's Bigfoot. More on that in my previous video. Now, there also have been some extremely deadly Bigfoot encounters recently. Well, not necessarily encounters, but it's related. 2 Oregon men decided to look for Bigfoot in Washington, and unfortunately, they both died on their adventure trying to capture, or I guess discover, this beast. Now, this story is deadly and does involve Bigfoot, but it is completely different from these other deadly Bigfoot encounters. Bigfoot didn't kill this person, and this person didn't die trying to find Bigfoot. What happened in this story is much more tragic, silly, and just unfortunate. Just under 13 years ago, about 20 minutes north of where I'm sitting right now, a very tragic and avoidable death occurred on Highway 93 near Kalispell, Montana. This is very interesting to me because I have driven on that highway at least a bajillion times, and I had never heard this story, and even more so when discussing this story with some of the older people in town. People knew about this when it happened 13 years ago. On August 26, 2012, Robert Lee Teenley decided to set out and do the impossible, prove to the entire world that Bigfoot is alive and well in Kalispell, Montana. Now, apparently Teenley was a little bit of a prankster and was known to cause a little bit of a ruckus, but never anything this big. According to his friends and the police, it seemed like he was mulling around the idea of starting up a Bigfoot hoax for a little while, but it was on August 26, 2012, like I said, that he finally decided to set out and go in the middle of the night on Highway 93 near Kalispell, Montana. The most ridiculous part of this entire story is that Teenley's plan was to wear a ghillie suit, you know, the thing that snipers, police, or kids playing paintball will wear to blend into their environment, to purposely not be seen by their enemies. Teenley put that on and decided to hop on the highway where he would pretend to be Bigfoot, walk slowly around the road, and eventually people would start reporting that they're seeing Bigfoot in Kalispell, Montana. Now, I don't know how big Teenley was, but unless he was on stilts, I don't think many people are going to be convinced that a normal-sized guy, unless he's like 6'4", is going to be Bigfoot, for one. But 2, wearing the thing to purposely blend in the environment and then staging something where you need to be extremely seen, like that's kind of the whole point, was a bit of an oxymoron and is what got him into trouble. You see, Teenley did not cause any sightings of Bigfoot to be called in that entire night. According to the records, nobody ever claimed to have seen Bigfoot on Highway 93, but what did happen was the police and ambulances were called when Teenley was struck by not 1, but 2 teenage girls on Highway 93. Teenley was first hit by a 15-year-old girl driving with her driver's permit, and then he was abruptly struck by a second vehicle with a 17-year-old girl, which has got to have caused a lot of trauma for both of these young women. Now, according to some of the newspapers that I've read and some of the videos that I've watched, it seemed like there was a good chance that he was drinking some Busch Light. Maybe it was Miller Time. I don't know exactly what he was drinking, but alcohol could have been involved, and I think that makes a lot of sense because, let's be honest, we're more likely to do stupid things like dress up in a ghillie suit and walk on the highway after a couple of beers. Apparently, one of the policemen or highway patrol people that came to the site and gave a report said that his idea of dressing up in a ghillie suit just to cause up a commotion about Sasquatch on a dark highway was the dumbest thing that he had ever heard, clearly not holding anything back, talking about how silly of an idea this was. Another quote that I thought was pretty funny was from the guy that ran the Army-Navy store in Kalispell, which I've been to 1 or 2 times, and it just is a store that sells a whole bunch of military like equipment and stuff like that. And it was the owner saying that he found it very odd that a grown man was buying a ghillie suit as the typical customer to buy one is actually a kid that wants to play paintball and blend in. And this was an odd case of a grown man buying a ghillie suit, which we now know was to pretend to be Bigfoot for some early YouTube fame. Well, it's extremely easy just to make fun of this guy. I do want to say that he is a real person, and although this was an incredibly stupid hoax to try to pull off, going on a dimly lit highway in a low visibility ghillie suit trying to stir some commotion about Bigfoot, he definitely did not deserve to lose his life over such a dumb prank that he probably thought was going to be a good story to tell his drinking buddies. Now, on the other side, I do want to say that the two biggest victims in this story are definitely those two teenage girls that now have to live with the trauma of being involved with another person's death at such a young age. Of course, that's horrible, and I hope that they're doing really well at this point and they have adjusted and can find it within themselves to drive at night, because I'd be a little freaked out for a while. I wish it could have been longer. I tried to do a deep dive into this topic because I found it, I think, on another YouTube video, and I thought it was kind of funny to talk about. But this was pretty much as in-depth as I could possibly go into this story. Every single news article was pretty much exactly this video. Why did I make it? Because it fits my channel very well, and I thought you specifically might enjoy it. Anyway, so that's the time Bigfoot was hit by two teenage girls in Montana. Have you ever heard of any other crazy Bigfoot or other cryptid hoaxes that have gone completely awry? If you have, let me know in a comment. And one last thing from our sponsor. So the hoodies that I started working on like 3 months ago are finally in. Boom, that's the design on the front. And here's our design on the back. It was a pretty great transition, wasn't it? Anyway, I love these shirts. They actually came in such better quality than I thought they would. And although I said it took me months, it actually took like a week to ship here to me, which is awesome. If you guys want anything Montana After Midnight branded, make sure to check the link below. I'm also gonna put, for the first week, a 10% discount code that'll be like right here on the screen. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate all the support, and I'm so happy to be making these videos. Hope you have a fantastic and safe day where you don't pretend to be Bigfoot in the middle of the road. Au revoir.